Republican infighting continues as Donald Trump releases yet another blistering attack ad against Ron DeSantis. Intrigued? Then click that like and subscribe and enjoy the video. So like any good lefty, there are very few things in this world that please me, that bring me as much satisfaction as Republican infighting, okay? It's a relatively new phenomenon. Historically speaking, the expression is that Democrats fall in love and are prone to infighting, and Republicans fall in line. We saw that in the 2015-2016 election cycle. Every Republican politician despised Donald Trump, thought he was unserious, he was boorish, he was foolish, he lacked the character and the credentials. But then when he pulled ahead and won over the Republican base, they all fell in line. Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, Jeb Bush, well, maybe not Jeb Bush, Chris Christie certainly, people who viciously and rightly criticized him fell in line. Now, we seem to have a bit of a role reversal. Democrats, for the most part, are relatively cohesive, relatively cohered, and the Republican Party is relatively disparate, relatively frayed, relatively fractured. And we see that in the tension between Donald Trump, who is running for president, and Ron DeSantis, who is probably trying to low-key run for president, but hasn't formally announced yet. And on Truth Social, Donald Trump released yet another blistering attack ad against Ron DeSantis, which I thought was hilarious, and it brings me great joy. So I thought I'd share it with you. Let's talk about it.
DeSantis was struggling big time in his primary race for governor of Florida. Polls revealed DeSantis was failing so bad, he was losing by a staggering 17 points. Then DeSantis was saved by the endorsement of President Trump. Trump's support was so powerful, just 2 days after the endorsement, DeSantis took a commanding lead, and it propelled him to being elected governor.
I'd like to thank our president for standing by me when it wasn't necessarily the smart thing to do.
You're welcome, Ron. Unfortunately, instead of being grateful, DeSantis is now attacking the very man who saved his career. Isn't it time DeSantis remembers how he got to where he is?
Make America great again.
Big league. So good.
Build the wall. Then Mr. Trump said, "You're fired." I love that part.
Truth is, there's only one person who can make America great again. Ron DeSantis.
Yeah, so you get the picture. That was a really good ad. Obviously, it was a monument to Trump's fragile ego and his vanity, because the truth is, when he says DeSantis is attacking, Trump, DeSantis really hasn't attacked Trump. That's actually part of the problem, is DeSantis is too cowardly, too, ineffective, too fragile to dare to try to get into a slugging match with Donald Trump. For whatever reason, he's convinced that if he stays above the fray, then maybe he can court the Republican base. And in a more rational world, that would be true. Unfortunately, that's not what the Republican base wants. It's certainly not what the MAGA base wants. They want bloodshed, metaphorically speaking. They want a blood sport style campaign. To them, strength is being vicious and insulting and attacking and just constantly on the offensive and no compromises and nothing but demanding absolute loyalty. Now, that's weakness in many respects, but that's what the Republican base confuses for strength. And that's why right now in the polls, Donald Trump is skyrocketing ahead despite 34 indictments, despite indictments coming more than likely from Georgia and the special counsel investigation, all these things. And DeSantis is trailing behind because he just exudes weakness, a certain type of weakness that the Republican Party can't abide. But yeah, that's a that's a great ad. It also reminded me of the cringiest ad that was ever done by any political operative ever, which is the 2018 advertisement done by Ron DeSantis when he was running for governor. And you see it at the end where he's reading his infant child, a Trump-themed baby book and build the wall. And that is really awkward, culty stuff. And I hope that Trump plays the hell out of that 2018 advertisement, because it will go to show DeSantis supporters, look at how obsequious and pathetic your loser candidate is, right? Say what you want about Trump, but I mean, this guy, he's not bold, he's not anything, he's a snake in a grass, and that's how Trump is going to play it. Now, obviously, Trump is awful too. I'm looking forward to Biden cleaning his clock in November 2024, but this is a great ad, and anything that humiliates Ron DeSantis is something that America should be able to get behind.